Yes, good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing great. Would like to review the game, obviously, from last week. Obviously, it was a heartbreaking loss for the Gamecocks. Defensively, some good, bad, and ugly things that we did in the football game. I think the most important thing is that we got to learn from all three of those, the good, bad, and the ugly, and just find a way to make sure we finish ball games and make sure we find a way to get a win. And I think our guys had the right mindset of attacking this week and starting on Sunday. Like I said, you come in here good, bad, win or loss, you got to address them in a certain way. And I like the mindset. We're still trying to attack. But obviously, we got to go up to Oklahoma. Big SEC ball game on the road. Looking forward to it.
Clayton, I know anything can happen. It's probably no use looking at possibilities, but probably should be a defensive game. Two really good defenses going at each other. How do you talk to your defensive guys and say, like, listen, offense might be at a premium, so one blown coverage might be putting you behind? I mean, how do you kind of approach that by saying we really can't make that one big mistake this week?
Yes, obviously that message kind of starts with, Coach Beamer kind of give us always, it's all three phases, first and foremost. But obviously I have a chance to speak to our guys about just how we need to play the game every single way. I mean, every single down. It's a one play at a time. It's a process that we continue, that won't change. But we definitely understand what's going on and what kind of team we're facing, and very similar football teams and however you want to look at it. But you definitely want to go out there and play every down, and it's definitely one play at a time like it is every single week.
What were the bad and ugly from last week? Were they mostly early on in those first couple drives when they were able to get touchdowns? Or
I mean, our job is to critique ourselves and obviously analyze and emphasize things that we try to get better at. Obviously, the opening drive, they go down and score a touchdown. That's not a way you want to start on the road. I want to say, obviously, the finish, we blew a coverage. We didn't finish the game, scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. So those are things that you're probably not going to win SEC games if you give up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, just how the league is built. So that was some things that we was mad about, and we want to make sure that we just continue to finish games, man, and regardless of what's going on. It's just a mindset thing.
I think coming into the season, the cornerback spot opposite O'Donnell was up for grabs, a question mark maybe, not a lot of experience there.
Mm-hmm.
What's your assessment of how they've played so far? What do you like individually about each guy?
I want to give a lot of credit to Coach Gray, just in regards of just preparing the guys and getting them ready every single day, not just games, every single day. I mean, the most prepared DB coach one of the most prepared coaches I've ever been around in my life in regards of getting guys ready for the day. So just hats off to him, one. Two, I think those guys have went in there and they played the best they possibly can play. I think they have room to grow. Proud of how Judge is playing. He had a great game against Ole Miss. I mean, I thought he all over the field, making tackles. They're making PBUs. I know he wants to get his pick. But just keep fighting and keep playing. I think Bakari's come in and really helped us. I also think the Emory, while he was in, he slipped on the one play. He's obviously battling some things body-wise, so make sure he's ready to go. But proud of how they're playing, and I think they can only get better as it goes.
at the end of the first half, they call timeout. What was your coaching point going into that, and could you have imagined that they actually threw the ball in that?
I mean, I can't really tell you what I really was saying on the headsets, but my mindset was, as the clock's ticking, I'm like, okay, they're done. When they called timeout, I was like, all right, so they want more. So, and just called us a base cover 3 coverage, and our guys made a play, and obviously it was a competitive catch, and Jalen Kilgore, who's one of our really, really good football players, young player, made a play, battled for the ball, threw the guy off, and I don't know if he ran out of bounds on purpose. I don't know if he couldn't get any more, but that was a smart play of getting out of bounds and situational awareness by him to give us an opportunity to go get 3 points.
Does it give your DB room, I don't know if they need any more confidence, but the fact that they've gone up against, the LSU receivers, the Ole Miss receivers, the Alabama receivers, does it give them any confidence going forward of, like, you guys have faced the best in the country, and you performed well, like, what else could happen?
Well, I think our guys are humble dudes. They understand that the life in this league is, it's up and down. It's up and down. Like, things are good, things are bad. They understand that. So, and that's our job as coaches, to keep them grounded and keep them in the right spot. When I design plays on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm designing plays to beat them, so got them a couple times a day, and that's just how it is. But we try to keep them grounded, more importantly, and they understand that, once again, we're in a league where every team has a playmaker or two or three, and, you got to be right on the back end. And it's all about discipline back there. One mistake is probably 6 points. So try to keep them grounded for sure. And they're doing a great job, and Coach Gray is not letting anything slide, so they're not walking around, hat home backwards and hoodies and going crazy and having a good overtime. They still lock in and discipline. So we're not letting up on those guys.
How much does Dylan Stewart being on the opposite side help Kyle Kennard?
I think they help each other. I think other guys around on our defense also. Our inside interior guys help just as much as Dylan. I think our guys on the inside really are doing a good job on one-on-one pass rusher opportunities. I think they've all won a couple this year, and I think Tonka got home the other day, one-on-one. That has a lot to do with Dylan and Kyle, and Kyle's sacks has a lot to do with Tonka, TJ Boogie, and the guys on the inside. So it all goes hand in hand, but I think having Dylan and the attention that he got early probably created some double teams for him, and then you go one way, it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. So that's fun, but people can't forget about the guys we have on the inside.
From a very general kind of standpoint, not looking at the inconsistencies and the inner dynamics, it's pretty fair to say the defense overall has just been very consistently strong this season. Was there a point where you kind of realized that may be the case? Why do you think that's the case? Was there, I mean, not to be cheesy, but like, did you ever find yourself being like, ooh, this year's going to be different? Like, why do you think the defense is able to perform so consistently game after game?
It's a good one. I will say, as a coach, we look at things so different. Outside looking in, y'all see one thing, we see another. But we do feel like as a defense, we feel like we haven't played our best yet, to be honest with you. So that's our goal, is to, we had a couple games, couple halves, couple 3 quarters, but we want to have a complete outing one day, and just waiting for that one really. So our guys are still hungry. I guess you could say we've been consistent because of the way we practice and just how we're prepared, and the guys that we have, and they understand what it takes. That we've all been through this journey. And this journey can be rough. It's not always a nice, smooth journey, but it can be a rough journey that can make you better.
This is going to be a dumb question, so I apologize. But when you are preparing for an offense that's obviously struggling, does that have like a different set of challenges? Because if you're going against an offense that's performing well, you know what they do really well. Are you trying to figure out like what they're going to try to do this week to get that offense going, or how does preparing for an offense that's struggling work?
Don't look at it that way. We look at the personnel. We look at the coaching staff. Seth Luttrell has been a really good football coach, head coach at a couple spots. Coached against him at UNC back in the day, and so I know those coaches are gonna get things going, and we just got to do a great job of staying ahead of what we think they're gonna do. We got to go out here and tackle. We got to do a great job of staying on top. We got to do a great job on our gaps, gap integrity, run gap integrity, and executing the plan, understanding the patterns and the coverages and all the other details that go into it. So we don't really dive into if they're struggling or not, if they are, but we know that, they're still 4-2. I think they're 4-2 now. So it's a good ball club. And in their mind, they probably can be 5-1 or 6-0 knowing them. So don't really look at it that way.
What did you see in Kyle at Georgia Tech that first wanted to bring him to South Carolina, and how did you envision him playing in your defense?
Well, when we watched his tape, we saw a guy who found a way to get to the quarterback. He has a nice speed to power rush that we felt like we needed some a force on the edge. We knew that we had a couple of new freshmen coming in that could play for us. We weren't sure in January. So obviously we just finished a season where we weren't good at sacks and TFL, so that was a primary focus for us in this offseason, was to make sure we got another guy that can come help. And then we got Gil. We knew JT was coming back healthy, and we had a freshman coming in, and we had Elijah Davis, and we had a couple guys that we knew that was gonna. BT was back, so healthy, feeling better than he did last year. We felt like the more the better. The more the better for us, and then we figured things out, how to get him here and all that stuff. But it was a big deal, and it's how I saw him fit in our defense is being a strong side defensive end, playing the run and pass, what he's doing. Awesome, thank you. See y'all.